Bears fans, welcome to the Chicago Sports Podcast. Bears get a lot of love in an unfamiliar position group. Me and Bishop is going to talk about that and a little bit more next on the Chicago Sports Podcast.
Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Hello.
Good evening,
What's
good
good?
evening. What's going on? D Nice, what's going on, baby?
Hey, man, I don't know. It ain't nothing but the Bears right now, man. We getting close to that training camp. What's good with you, Bishop? How you, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's Thursday night, and you know what that means, right? That means we're going to talk some Bears football. What's going on, everybody out there in the chat? Everybody, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining us this Thursday night. We do appreciate it. Do us one quick favor if you can, please. Can you please hit that like button, subscribe, and share the content? Because, again, this content is for you. It's by us, but it's for you. And with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. D Nice had mentioned that we got some love, or shall I say, the Chicago Bears got some love regarding a very unfamiliar group. And that unfamiliar group is, drum roll please, the offensive line. Yes, the offensive line. So I don't know if everybody's been paying attention. PFF put a ranking out there where they ranked all the teams and their offensive lines. And believe it or not, the Chicago Bears came in number 4. Can you believe that? Number 4. So before we get really into it, everybody out there in the chat, I want you all to chime in. Let me know, or let us know, what you guys think about the ranking by PFF. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to my co-host, D Nice, and ask him this very specific question. D Nice, what are your thoughts regarding that ranking?
Whew. It's a lot of that's a. Listen, I love the love that's coming from ESPN because I said it's unfamiliar because we don't Bears in general don't get a lot of love over at ESPN, and from a Bears fan perspective of the Bears, that offensive line definitely doesn't get a lot of love. But number 4. And I do understand the key acquisitions, the guys on the field as well as the coaching staffs and new offenses, things of that nature. Number 4, that'll be tough to crack for me. I don't think the Bears will be a top 5 offensive line. I would love if they will be, but I don't think it's necessary for them to be. From a fan perspective, it'll be great to say, hey, we have
Yeah.
a top 5 offensive line, but to be successful and to winning season, it doesn't have to be top 5. But I do not think we have a top 5 group. Listen, great acquisitions. I think we're anywhere from in between 8 and probably 15. Now, if they say anything like that, then okay, I can kind of rock with it. But 4, nah. 4 puts you amongst the elite. Now, surprisingly, I don't know about ESPN, but I've seen on ProFootballNetwork.com, Denver was number 1. Denver was ranked number 1.
Really?
And they won 10 games coming into this season. Denver's ranked number 1. They won 10 games last year. Okay. But a top five unit, I think we're talking about the Buffaloes, the Detroits, the Ravens. Um, some would say the Eagles. Um, they say Denver. We talking about the elites. Was Kansas City a top five offensive line last year? I didn't think so.
No, they shouldn't have been.
Right. So and they end up playing in the Super Bowl. So there you go. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So
completely agree with you, man.
so I don't think it's like we have a Hall of Famer coming in and Joe Thuney, and that's great as long as he don't have to play left tackle will be great. I don't want Thuney playing left tackle. We seen how that worked out in the Super Bowl, and that was nasty work. But him as a guard, bringing my man in from the Falcons, great acquisitions. Jonah Jackson, another very good acquisition. Is a guy that understands what the head coach wants to do. And then there's a gelling process that comes with this. I think the gelling process can happen a lot faster than people may want to say. They want to give this thing time to kind of like develop or whatnot. But I think the gelling process can happen a lot quicker because we have a guy on the line that understands what's going on as far as what the coaches are asking for to do in this particular scheme. So I think that helps things. Now the question we have is who's going to be our left tackle? I think I know, and I think all of us Bears fans have an opinion on who we think is going to be or who we would like to be in that spot. But that's a very key spot to have like a question in, and then to turn around and say we're top five unit. It's a little different there, man.
I get you on that. Really quick, just a couple of the rankings that was put out there. Of course, the Chicago PFF has the Chicago Bears ranked at number 4.
Mm.
Oddly enough, and we're just going to focus on our division.
Mm-hmm.
Within our division, they have the Minnesota Vikings ranked at number 7,
Mm-hmm.
the Detroit Lions ranked at number 13, and the
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay Packers at number 14.
Mm-hmm.
All in the top half of the NFL. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with regard to the Chicago Bears being ranked number 4, I think it's a little premature for the simple fact we don't quite know yet who that left tackle is going to be. I myself also have an idea who I think it may be. Don't know how it's all going to shake out once training camp. Again, it's really going to come down to is Braxton Jones healthy and
Yeah.
ready to participate in training camp now, so we can see
Mm-hmm.
whether or not he can, actually be the actual starting left tackle. Also, with that, why I would say it's kind of premature to consider us in the top 5, the less number 4. I know it looks great on paper. On paper, the acquisitions that we've made uh, would essentially put us, say, top 7. I won't go as far as top 5, but you and I both know in order for that to even be possible, you got to build the continuity, and we just don't have the continuity yet on this offensive line. Now, of course, we don't know if how much these guys have been working out together off the
Mm-hmm.
field, leading up to training camp. So they could very well be a lot more together than we would anticipate them being at this stage right now. But again,
Mm-hmm.
in what we got 12 days before the rookies have to is it no, it's actually
I was gonna say the rookies
eight
report earlier.
eight days for the rookies, and that which is on the 18th, and then the veterans got to report on the 22nd. So I mean, literally, right around the corner,
Yeah.
training camp is here. So we're going to
Yeah.
find out really soon where we stand with regard to that left tackle.
Right.
I've been hearing a lot of chatter about that rookie, and
Yeah.
it seems like quite a few in the building is pretty high on this rookie. Now, again, still remains to be seen. Once
Yeah.
everybody's on there, you put them pads on. Now we're going to really see who's who and what's what. Period.
Yeah.
Um, I was surprised by the ranking myself from PFF,
Hmm.
and I kind of take their rankings with a grain of salt in some cases.
I'm not a fan either, Bishop. But go ahead. I'm
But
listening.
but but I mean, but it seems that their rankings hold high regard throughout the league,
Yeah.
or at least among fan bases.
Hmm.
So who am I? I'm just a podcaster. That's a fanatic when it comes to sports, especially the Chicago Bears. So I'm gonna fall back on this one. You
Yeah. I
know.
mean, you listen. You deserve the right to have an opinion, just like all these other guys out here, man. Don't even. You
Oh,
know what I'm saying?
absolutely. Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Don't
have
run
my
away from it,
opinion.
man.
I'm gonna have my
Yeah.
opinion, but I I hope for us to be surprised. It would
Yeah.
be great. You know,
Awesome.
it would be
Awesome.
great. But I want
Yeah.
that to translate into wins.
Most definitely.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I don't care if we're top 10, top 15, as long
Hmm.
as it translates to wins, especially more wins than what we had last season. That's what matters.
Absolutely.
And I would like for us to have enough wins to where we can compete, if not take over the North, but more importantly, be in the conversation of playoffs.
True indeed. True indeed. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
So,
100%.
with regard to the acquisitions, there also has been chatter about whether or not Jonah Jackson can return to form, and because everybody feel that the last couple of seasons he kind of declined. Um, Part of it because of the injury that he sustained, but you got some people that I wouldn't. I think that was a bad pickup by the Bears. They shouldn't have. They should have got somebody else. You gonna always have the naysayers. But what
Always.
I recall when I watched the Atlanta Falcons, he looked pretty doggone good to me. I'm
Yeah,
just saying
when he played, he
when he was
most
healthy.
definitely did. Yeah,
Yeah,
when healthy, he
when he was
most
healthy.
definitely did. You know, when you hear guys, share their opinions on certain position groups, you have to ask, like, what are you looking for? What are the traits that you're looking for out of the guy that you would like to come in? What is different? What does this guy have different than the guy you would want to come in here? So you mean to tell me you would prefer a rookie center over Dalman?
I know I wouldn't. No sir.
Right. And even with the Jonah Jackson thing, okay, he never returned to his, Pro Bowl, what I'm saying, stature or whatnot. But is he a good player? Just like a lot of people like to say, if you're not a Pro Bowl or All Pro, you suck. But that's not how it works. There's a line, there's levels. Everyone can't be All Pro. Everyone can't be in the Pro Bowl. You know what I'm saying? But you can still be good.
Yeah.
You know, look at Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton is a perfect example. Mekhi Becton with the Jets was considered a bust. He comes to the Eagles. He looks like an All Pro. They talk about how massive, what I'm saying, he is in size. And, they have such glaring things to say as he, joins the Eagles and helps Saquon Barkley on his crusade to 2,000 yards and the Eagles to the Super Bowl. It's all good. But wasn't nobody saying that about him, as far as so glaring anyway. They weren't saying that about him when he was in New York, you know?
Yeah. But but
So,
but but D Nice, let's be real.
yeah.
And we talked about this the last few shows that we've had. Scheme. Scheme means a lot. And first of all, something that, and I'm going to repeat almost word for word what you've said in the past. You don't just automatically forget how to play football. So, if for whatever reason a person does not seem to look like themselves, it's not that the fact that they've gotten all of a sudden they lost a step or they've gotten worse or anything like that. It could
Right.
very well just be that the scheme does not fit the player
There you
and
go.
vice versa.
There you go. And since we're here, Bishop, since we're here, I'm gonna give it back to you in just a second. Since we're here, let's talk about the things that's plagued this offensive line last season. You know,
Please.
we're not gonna go back 2 years, 3 years, you know what I'm
No
saying,
need to.
ago. We're just gonna go from last. Let's talk about the things last year that plagued this old line. You know what I'm saying? Outside of personnel and ability, let's talk about the intricate things that really plague this O line. Okay, inconsistencies in play calling, inconsistency in scheme, inconsistency in guys availability. Right? You know, those three things alone can plague the best guys. You know, no matter how much ability you have, if you don't, if these three things that I named come up in the group of inconsistencies, you're gonna struggle. I don't care who you are. You know, the way these defensive guys come up and scheme things up, if you can't properly communicate things, if you don't understand the direction that you're going into as a team, if you don't know who your assignment is as the blocker, if you're not doing if you're not using proper blocking technique, you're gonna struggle.
Say that again a little louder for the people in the back, please.
You know, it's just then okay, we have a rookie QB who doesn't truly understand how the NFL game works. He's winging it. Why? Because he has inconsistencies in his coaching as well. And he don't, you know what I'm saying? He knows where he wants to go, but he just doesn't know how to get there. So all this is a key contribution into why this O line struggled. Now we can sit up here and be lazy and point out the fact that hey, he's not very good. Oh, he went undrafted. Oh, he was a third stringer in Green Bay. But I've seen third stringers from other teams become starters somewhere else and become very good players. So to use that as an excuse is quite lazy. Regardless of how true it is, it's lazy. You gotta look at this thing all the way through. And you know, the Bears front office made a choice to kind of fix everything in one offseason. Get a guy in here that's gonna give us proper direction, and they're gonna hire some coaches that can coach these guys up properly. On top of the fact, we're gonna sign and draft guys that we think can come in here and be the best they can be for our team. So instead of just blaming it on personnel, we gotta look at the thing all the way through because that's what the front office did. And now we have to see how this thing is gonna pan out through training camp, through preseason, and on up into the regular season.
So I have a question for you, D
Mhm.
Nice. What do you think the relationship, or I won't say the relationship. What word? I'm trying to think of a word that I can use. How much do you think Dalman is going to help Caleb at the line of scrimmage with regard to identifying what they see both pre-snap and after the snap?
Well, I think it's gonna be a huge, like it's gonna be night and day from what he had into what he's coming into this season, because we have a guy that's played center at a high level, and he's a vet. He's not a rookie. You know, he understands what he's saying because a lot of people wanted us to have a rookie center and a rookie quarterback last year, and you're talking about disaster in my mind. I was of the adage where I always thought that your center, if you have a young quarterback, your center has to be a vet. He has to be a guy, you know what I'm saying, that's played this position at a high level. You know, so he can understand. That center that plays at a high level understands what he's seeing, and he's able to communicate it properly. You know, because that's the key. You know, because they're all learning this new scheme. But
Together.
together. Based off of what this guy sees before he snaps this football, and he's able to communicate it to a young guy like Caleb, who's probably never seen whatever before. He probably seen it before, but not at this level. You know, and he can also, you got two guys on the side of the center that these two guards are also veterans that played this game at a high level.
and
You
seen
know,
it all.
that's going to help these young tackles out. Whoever's on the left side and Darnell Wright. Like, this is tremendous. On top of the fact that we got guys on the sideline that have a direction and honestly knows how to get to where we're trying to go. Perfect. It's a perfect marriage, man.
Well, I don't think I can't follow that up with anything. I have to agree with you totally on that. So with that being said, let's get right down to it. The left tackle position,
Mm-hmm.
which has been a position in question for the past couple seasons. Although we've had a pretty steady individual who has played the position for us, but we know that um, there's holes in his game that needed to be addressed. One, by him in terms of the work that he needed to put in to be able to maintain that position as starting left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to also remember he was in the midst of rehabbing as well. So how much work was he really able to put in to be prepared for the season in terms of, okay, I know I got to compete for my job to be the starter in conjunction with trying to also compound that with getting ready health wise from an injury because he had surgery, so he had
Mm-hmm.
to do complete rehab.
Yeah.
So we so everybody out there know I'm speaking about Braxton Jones, our current on papers, many would say would be the starting left tackle. So my question to you, D Nice, is who do you think the starting left tackle will be at the start of the season?
If you ask me, what I'm saying, foot to the fire, I would say Braxton Jones. Now, the first thing Braxton has to do before he thinks about all that stuff that you mentioned, and you are absolutely right, but the first thing he needs to do is concentrate and be honest with himself. First of all, he got to concentrate on being healthy, and he has to be honest with himself on the fact that if he's truly healthy when it's time to roll,
Hmm.
because him coming out there halfway could be a detriment to him, also to the ball club.
I
Okay.
don't think he's the type of player that will come out if he's not 100% though. I don't get that from Braxton. Now I give him credit. He played through his injury as far as he could up until he just couldn't go no more.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because at the time, I mean, we really just didn't have anybody else to fill the spot. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
I mean,
but
because you
I
had
I
two
get it.
guys injured,
Yeah.
him and
So
Amagaji. Yeah. So.
so I get it. You know what I'm saying? But no, I agree with you. And also I think Braxton has to be honest about what his limitations are in terms of pre-injury, and if any of that was was physical as much as it was mental, and just getting in the reps necessary to and watching enough film to prepare himself for bull rushes and how guys that he's going to go up against in terms of ends, as far as the defensive ends, how is he going to prepare himself mentally through the mental reps up until the point that he was able to physically start working on his game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I also agree with you. I just think because of the importance of having a line that is solid, Braxton Jones probably will be the starting left tackle at the start of the season. Now, I'm not saying he's going to hold on to that job the entire season, but oftentimes that once that offensive line is set at the start of the season, that's usually your offensive line throughout the season,
Right.
barring any injuries.
Right. So, like we don't okay, we got Trapillo, we have Amagaji, and we have Braxton. You know, Trapillo is the flavor of the month because he's the newly drafted kid, and he has a lot of it's a lot to like about him. But we can't treat Amagaji like he's the forgotten man. You know what I'm saying? We have to kind of bring him into this conversation because
Well, I don't know. D Nice Amagaji didn't seem to become the wing with no season and no type of seasoning or sauce on him, man. Trapillo
right.
seems to be right now. He seems to be the lemon pepper flats
That,
at that.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We don't need to get into this thing where we're hanging our hats on this young rookie to be what I'm saying, a starter. Or
Or
we
the
can't
savior.
say yeah, we can't say not. But one thing I know about competition is gonna bring out, what I'm saying, whoever you are, the competition is gonna bring it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're a competitor and you thrive in competitive situations, the cream will rise to the top. But if you're not that, then you're gonna wilt and you're gonna lose.
It's funny you said that. Something just struck my mind, man. And I got to say this before I forget it. Typically, we're in an age of information and everything seems to end up on the internet, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Do you not find it peculiar that we have not seen any workout tape of Braxton Jones this off season preparing for this season? We seen likes the rookie and other guys, but
Hmm.
nothing of Braxton Jones. And I'm saying that because I'm I'm optimistic, man, with regard to Braxton Jones based off of his character. And I believe this young man is going to come into training camp prepared. That's just me. Because from the time he was drafted to now, there's been steady improvement, not to the point where everybody was just feel that he should be that that dude, but you
Hmm.
can't say that he was all that bad because when you hear other people talk about offensive linemen, they're not poo-pooing on him.
Yeah.
Now we all
Inclu-
know he has a problem with his anchor in terms of what to come to the bull rushes, but now his pass protection definitely needed work. But
hmm
but we can say when it come to the run game, he get
Huh.
down with it.
Huh. Yeah.
Now if he can just put the
Yeah.
two together,
Yeah.
we'll have something. And
Yeah.
I'm just wondering that this injury may have forced him to really lock in to where he's going to be even he's going to be better prepared, especially because of the coaching staff we have now. I'm quite sure that there's been some conversations from the time the new coaching staff has come into the building to now to help him get prepared and understand what is expected of him. Would
Right.
you agree?
Absolutely. 100%. Now, like you said, only people that's really poo-pooing on him are Bears fans. Right? But listen,
That's what we do.
understandably so, because he's creating a pretty lengthy rap sheet of injury history. Okay, and sometimes his tape, it just looks bad. But Ben Johnson not pooping. Ben Johnson has some pretty glaring things to say about Braxton Jones.
And when you mean by glaring, you mean glaring in terms of good and not bad, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, I just want the people
yeah,
out there to know what you mean by glaring,
yeah.
because
And
usually when you hear the word glaring, they think the negative, the bad.
yeah. I was gonna walk him along and let him know that it was all
Okay,
positive. But he just said certain things just had to be corrected, and that just comes from coaching, man. Bad coaching will create bad habits. True enough, this guy's probably been an offensive lineman for shoot the majority of his football career.
But he
Okay,
was a
let's say
fifth
that.
round pick, and he didn't come from a big school either.
Yeah, and I listen.
And we got
I
to
don't
take all
really.
that into account. And then
Well,
let's be honest,
mhm,
Simo, or whatever his name,
yeah.
dude, look, he should have been working at Walmart, stocking shelves at night.
uh,
Did I say that? Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, man. I mean, it just
Sorry,
wasn't
not
good.
sorry.
It just wasn't good, bro. And at the end of the day, when you under bad coaching, you're going to develop bad habits. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Regardless of
no
how
coaching at
long,
all.
regardless of how long this kid been playing O line, he still need coaching. The higher level you go to, like certain things will work in high school that's not going to work in college. Certain things that going to work in college that is not going to work once you reach the NFL. It's just how it is. It's just the nature of the beast. So bad coaching has contributed to a lot of bad habits. And like you said, he has issue with the bull rush. He gets beat, but he's not getting beat by Joe Smo coming off the UPS truck. He's getting beat by Aiden Hutchinsons, the the top
But
pass rushers in the
I was
NFL,
gonna say,
right?
just go down the list
Yeah,
of pass rushes, man.
yeah, and you know, also when these defensive coordinators, bring this mug look, onto the offensive line. If you don't know your assignment on who to block, somebody's going to have a free run.
Or how's about this, D Nice? Not that you don't know who to block. It's the fact that they already know that the guard that's next to you is garbage and the center next to the guard is garbage. So they just say, you know what? We just gonna hit that gap to force the tackle to make a decision. Does he try to put hands on the edge, or is he trying to fill the gap because somebody's stunting into that gap? Because one, the center is already on his back, if not in the quarterback's lap,
Yep.
and the guard is clueless.
Yeah. Yeah. And see,
So,
we we all seen tape of these guys on the ground falling over. You know what I'm saying? And I
oh
was told,
man,
by O line coaches and the NFL O lineman that I know in my life, and our former O lineman that I know in my life, and I spoke to about this. Majority of the time we see an offensive lineman on the ground is because of bad technique. It
yes.
has no it has very little to do with the actual strength of the guy. You know what I'm saying? It comes from bad technique. If an O lineman ends up on the ground, it's about bad technique. If he didn't get tripped. But if you got tripped, it's a product of bad. All y'all using bad technique. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So hopefully that part of it gets fixed. The coaching, from the coaching standpoint, hopefully that gets fixed. And I think you'll see a better Braxton Jones.
Well, I think too, D Nice, it'll be nice to see some communication along the offensive line. Cause I don't know about you, but I know when I was watching the games and then I go back to watch the film or highlights,
Mm-hmm.
and I rarely, if ever, saw any communication from the offensive lineman. I saw nobody pointing and calling out, what they saw. It was like they just lined up, quarterback get under center, or he in the or it's just there was nothing there, man. Nothing at all, which for me irritated me more than anything because yeah, does guys need to work on their game? Absolutely. But when there is horrible coaching, zero communication, and understand this, I'm not trying to lay down a bunch of excuses for these guys because, in all honesty, the play last season, there's no excuse for it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to going into this new season, and with the acquisitions that have been made, and what I mean by acquisition, I'm talking personnel wise for the offensive line, also coaching. I strongly believe in my fiber that these guys will perform a lot better because they understand now what the job requires. Not that they didn't before, but
Mm-hmm.
what the expectations are. But more importantly, we have a coaching staff and a team that I strongly believe are very certain on what they want the identity of the team to be. So, because of that, you're going to see better performances from the offensive line because I better believe they've been on the phone a lot with the coaches before any OTAs, before any mini camps.
Mm-hmm. This is true. This is
They
true.
were on the phone, and I mean, as a matter of fact, not even on the phone. They were on Zoom calls, and they were getting it. They was getting it together.
Yeah,
Period.
I believe that 100%, 100%. But like you said, you mentioned there was no communication by the guys, and I think mainly because they didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, okay, if you say, hey, D, take me to the gas station. Which one? I don't know. How can I take you if you don't know where we going? How if we in the same class and we both don't understand what the teacher's talking about, how the hell we gonna study for the test? You know what I'm saying? How we gonna pass it?
Yeah,
We don't know.
yeah.
So I can't tell you nothing. You can't tell me nothing. And that's what was going on a lot last year, man.
And
And it showed.
one other thing before we wrap things up for tonight, with regard to the offensive line, this ranking of number 4. With regard to the NFC North, which is probably, if not the toughest, the second toughest division in football this season, coming up and approaching. Um, with regard to run game, passing game, let's break the ranking down with regard to that. Where do you
Mm,
think they're going to fall when it comes to the run game? Based on personnel, just solely based on personnel, because we don't know what the scheme looks like or anything yet, but just
right.
based on personnel, what we see on paper and and how PFF came about their ranking, where do you think the Bears are going to rank with regard to the run game, and then where do you
Hmm.
think they're going to rank with regard to pass pro?
I think we're gonna be, as far as rushing the football, based off of personnel. I think we're gonna be in the top 15.
Okay,
Yeah, and as far as passing the ball, I think we're gonna be in the top 10. I honestly believe that. I believe it is. It listen, this thing, the way this thing is developed, the way this thing has been put together, it will be very hard for them not to be.
so one other question for you because I'm full of questions tonight.
Hmm.
Do you do you expect to see a lot more play action?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think that
And
I think because I think that's going to lead to a bunch of big plays.
and who's going to be the benefactor?
I think it depends on the week, Bishop. To be honest with you, but one guy that's going to benefit from this greatly is Caleb Williams.
Okay.
But as far as like his targets and who's going to um, reap the benefits of these pass, I think it's going to be a week to week thing. I just think with the group we have, it's going to be it'll be foolish just to lean on one guy.
No, I get you. And I'm
You know,
glad you said that because I was thinking along the same terms myself, but I'd rather hear it from you versus my own head, but I was
Yes, sir.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, a thing where guys are going to, a different guy may eat each week, or it may be a week where everybody gets some. But I think a different guy. And I was very like I was really hounding this going into last year, but this feels a lot different. And even from a weaponry standpoint, it's different. Like the way we can attack, because we can attack in between, in between the hashes, and we can go down the field with this group we have. And we have listen, I cannot stress enough what direction means to me and what it's going to mean to this football team. And we have listen, as much crap as they try to talk about how bad of a rookie season Caleb had, yeah, he held on to the football, blah blah blah. But what we seen last year it'll be undeniable that this thing doesn't work out. You know what I'm saying? That this thing is not going to work out, like it's supposed to. Like listen, man. And I'm a guy, I usually don't get too, too ahead of myself, and I keep things kind of, in a particular perspective. But listen, we got a lot to be excited about, bro. And this passing game is going to be as prolific as anything we've seen in Chicago.
How
But
about how about never?
and listen, and I'm pretty sure we get a group of guys we can throw the ball around a few times and be close to that. But from a professional standpoint, man, this thing's going to be like anything we ever seen in Chicago. But the league is going to honestly have to take notice and respect what's going on. They're going to have to.
That coming from you, man, says a lot because I know you well enough to know that you're accustomed to being where your feet are. So
Yeah.
and you don't get ahead of yourself.
Mm-mm.
And I mean that in a good way. And for those of you guys that's out there, D Nice isn't never he's never pessimistic when it comes to the game of football or the Chicago Bears. He's always optimistic, but I have to agree with him with regard to we've been trying our best to temper our expectations or our excitement. But as we get closer, and we're literally 8 days away from the rookies report, 12 days away from the vets reporting, which if you want to put it in proper context, we are
Yeah.
a week and
Yeah.
a couple days away from
Yeah, man.
football
Yes.
starting. And when the ranking came out regarding the offensive line, I was like, oh Jesus, yeah, now we know we're getting close. When you get these kind of rankings, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I first saw it, I didn't respond. I didn't even comment on X or anything. I just kind of looked at it, evaluated it, and then me and Trax were talking via text. He had sent me some information, and he said it's okay, and I'm gonna go ahead. He's got some sources out there that think that we should temper our expectations some, and I understand the reason why. And then come back to what I opened the show with, which is continuity. That's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be the key. But I'm here to say this: by week 10, they're gonna be all in. By week 10, the continuity will be there, and I believe we're going to really see an uptick. Um, I guess my next question, because I say I'm full of questions,
Go for it. I'm with it, man. I love it.
with the offensive line being ranked number 4, we have them within the top 15. Um, I my question to you is this: will Caleb Williams have a 4,000-yard season? And is it necessary to have a 4,000-yard season? Me personally, I can care less about the 4,000
Right.
yards. I want wins. I
Right.
want wins. And I'm gonna be honest, and I'm going on record tonight to say I want double digit wins. Okay, double digit, and
Yeah.
so I'm going on record, y'all. I got the Bears winning 10 games this season.
Hey, why not?
I got them winning 10 games this season, and I think it's going to really come down to the Bears and Green Bay as to who wins the North. And the only reason I'm going with Green Bay over Minnesota
Hmm.
is solely because of the coaching staff that they have in place and how long they've been in place, but more importantly, just the continuity that team has. And trust me, I'm not taking Minnesota lightly
Yeah.
because I think we're going to see something out of JJ McCarthy that many don't expect. And it's because he wasn't asked to do certain things at Michigan. But I think Kevin McConnell is a smart enough man to know what he has. That's why he was willing to pull the trigger and let Sam Darnold leave the building.
Hmm.
I don't think he would have turned his offense over to a guy that he didn't think was ready. So
And
I'm just letting everybody know.
hey,
When I
and
when I say this division is gonna be, if not the toughest, the second toughest division outside of Kansas City, on the Ravens and those guys,
huh,
is because we got coaches in this division now that know football and
amen.
and offensively minded guys that know football. So
Yeah.
it's look, man, it's about to go down.
Yeah. Hey, listen, since you spoke on Minnesota and Kevin O'Connell, there's a guy, former Chicago Bear, that's a quarterback coach over there that
Ooh.
does not get nearly the credit he deserves. And I think he'll be, if he wants it, I think within the next couple of years, he'll be a head coach.
I know he was in conversation for a head coaching job this past off season.
Yeah. Or OC. He's definitely going to be an OC somewhere first. But
Absolutely, yeah, I'm with you on
Josh
that. I know, yeah.
McCown, Josh McCown, you playing with the other, you over there on the other side in Minnesota, but I give you a ton of credit, and he's the reason why I think if JJ McCarthy has any success outside of himself, I think Josh McCown will be a huge reason why.
Shoot, I give Josh McCown credit for the year that Sam Donald had.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but uh, McConnell, JJ has a relationship because I think I think Josh McCown may have coached him in high school.
They
I
had some.
think
I know they had some kind of interaction. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
I
I
I, I read I
think
read that
that's
somewhere
it.
as well.
I think that's it. And there's a lot of chemistry there. And I respect chemistry a great deal.
Chemistry means a lot,
And
man.
when you have two guys that's intertwined like that, man, it could be some great things coming out of Minnesota with that quarterback and with what they have going on. Just not in week one. You know what I'm saying? Just not in week one, But I really like Josh McCown. And if the Bears had named him our OC this coming year, I would not have been upset.
No, me
And
either.
but yeah, I really like him, and I wish him nothing but the best. And that'll be like the most complimentary thing you hear me say about these guys in the division, bro. You know what I'm
Look,
saying? Because I
look,
don't
bro.
like none.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. How I foresee this season playing out, man, is I think within the division, everybody's going to protect their home field in order to win the division. I think you're going to have one team that beats one of the other opponents within the division twice, but it's very likely. because when I looked at everybody's schedule, nobody has an easy schedule in our division this
No,
season.
no.
And but when I look at it, I'm like, it's very possible that everybody can defend their home field where everybody splits a game. It's going to be imperative that we handle the other NFC teams that we go and play, whether we go to their house or they come to our house.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to determine where certain teams are going to fall when it comes to the playoffs, and that 1 through 6, 1 through 7, who's going to get wild card. I believe that we could be a division that can have two, if not.
Hey man, listen,
Playing
and
in the playoffs, bro.
and because because things are so close, because we're not. Listen, we finished 5-12 last year, but the games we played within division show that we're not that far away from our divisional foes. You know what I'm saying? As far as like playing the game,
Hmm.
but that's why it's injuries and staying healthy are going to be key, because when things are so close like it is in our division, one bad injury takes someone out of this thing completely.
Well, that's why depth is so important, and that's why
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. That's why I commended the Lions last season, because they was plugging and playing, and they
yeah,
wasn't missing a beat. You know what I mean? So that's again, that's a testament to your culture. That's a testament to your coaching, but more importantly, that's a testament to everybody in the building being prepared and ready to play when their numbers called. And we just gotta hope that we have the same in our building.
yeah. I really, I listen. I'm all down for the depth, but I don't want no key guys getting
No,
banged.
me neither do I. Neither do I.
I
But
don't.
but we got to be honest about this thing, man. It's a
Yeah,
possibility,
absolutely. Yeah, you got
and
to be
depth
real about it.
and depth is important.
Yeah,
And when we speak of depth, we don't want the depth to be. I'm having some feedback. We don't want the depth to be to a point where from the starter to the second stringer is such a drop off.
true, true.
And again, I'm hoping that everybody can stay healthy.
Yeah,
But and that's going to be the key, especially when it comes to building the continuity and everything that we need to as well, especially along the offensive line, so that we can have a very strong running attack. And long as, and I want us to be able to keep our quarterback upright and clean. And I don't want to see I want to see him sacked the least amount of times as possible, which means he's gonna have to participate in that, meaning getting that ball out.
yes,
Two
indeed.
2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, that ball got to be gone.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I'm go out on a limb right now and tell you that he won't get sacked 60 nothing times this season coming up. I listen. I'll listen. I'll put up whatever that he won't get sacked 60 nothing times. I don't think he gets sacked 50 something times. I listen. I think that thing's gonna be mid
I'm gonna be honest. I
30s.
think it's less than 30
Yeah, I think it's gonna be in the mid
or
30s,
30.
man. You know.
I give it 30, 35 tops.
Yeah, I'll put anything on that. Well, I wish I could place a bet with that. It won't be 60 nothing.
Yeah, the over and under. I hear you.
Yeah, yeah. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, but
But yeah, man, listen. Another great conversation, another great topic to provoke some thought. Um, we just have to wait and see though. But a lot of people frown up at these topics. Like you said, it is very premature. But what it does, it gets the fans more excited about what's to come. Now, it's up to the players to live up to this stuff. So you guys out there, Bears fans, and the hopefuls out there that's hanging on, you know what I'm saying? The dear life, hoping that the Bears have this excellent turnaround season. Listen, we're all there. But it ultimately, it's up to the players to go out there and perform. So y'all can't get mad at the premature topics and saying the Bears top five, top 10. Listen, it's just to provoke thought. And at the end of the day, them guys got to get out there and get to it. So, we're here to talk about it as Bears fans, and we just listen. We ain't finna be negative on nothing that we don't have to be negative on.
Not at
We're
all.
gonna maintain, some positivity. We're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it honest. So listen, man. We are what? How many days away, Bishop?
I'm gonna put it like this. I'm looking at the calendar. It's funny you just asked me. So a week from tomorrow, rookies
Mm,
report to camp. And then
okay.
that following Tuesday, which is the 22nd, veterans report to camp. So the rookies would have already done their physicals again,
Mm-hmm.
already working, and then the veterans come into the building on the 22nd. All those guys that do their weigh-ins to make sure that they reaching their metrics and everything, and physicals as necessary. Guys that have been rehabbing during the off season, making sure that they're good and ready to go, getting their statuses and everything updated. But as of the 22nd, matter of fact, let's just put it out there. As of the 23rd, it's when it's going down.
Indeed. And my birthday is on the 21st, ladies and gentlemen. So, you
Oh,
know,
so that means the Bears are giving you a birthday present called training camp.
yes, indeed. Hey, listen. I've had some bad gifts in the past, and that's not one of them. I'll take that. But yeah, for you guys watching on X and everywhere else you watching, show your boys some love on the 21st for sure. But
Yes,
yeah,
yes. But hey,
yeah.
look, we could go on and continue to have conversation about this, but we're not gonna beat a dead horse. We gonna cut it where it is. PFF had put the rankings out. I want the guys to just perform at the top level. Don't worry about what the preseason rankings are. Just
Hmm.
be your absolute best
That's
when it's
it,
time
man.
when it comes September.
That's it. Situational, baby. Be the best when it's time to be. You know what I'm saying. Be great when it's time to be great. You know what I'm saying. It can't be a thing. Because we're not gonna win every game, unfortunately. And guys out there not gonna win
We're
every
gonna try
play.
though. We're
We're
gonna
gonna
try.
try for sure. That's all we can
Remember, I
ask.
said, remember the bishop said double digit wins. Double digit.
Yeah,
I'm
I
going with
heard
10.
that.
I'm going with 10.
Hey, listen, ain't
Now
nothing wrong with that because I'm with you.
there's been
I might
there's
I
been some
might go
other
one better.
there's been some on our network who have stated more than 10, and then we've had one or two who find it hard to go past 9. I'm hoping but by training camp that would have changed, but in the event not, it is what it is. But I will say this: I'm under the impression, man, honestly, that the team that finishes last in our division is going to be the team with 9 wins.
Mm, mm. Whew.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
stirring that pot now. I'm
that's
stirring that
one to
pot.
hey, that's one to grow on right there, man. That's one to grow on right there. Woo,
Y'all think about that what the bishop just put out there. Y'all think
love
about
it.
that.
I love it, man. I love it,
Well, look,
man.
D
But
Nice, let's get ready to get on out of here, man. We want to thank everybody that took the time to grace us with your presence tonight. Thank you for hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing this content. Thank you for sharing your Thursday evening with us. We do appreciate it. We know you could be doing anything else, but you chose to spend it with us. And because of that, we are grateful. With that being said, before I turn it over to D Nice to give the pleasantries on our way out, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to my girl, Rita, to my sister Felicia, to my boy Stuart out there in Florida, my man, to my niece. Everybody, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I'm gonna get out the way, let D Nice go ahead and close us out. But hey, y'all, next Friday, Rookies report. Let's get ready, y'all. Football is here. D-Nice, take us away, brother.
Yes, indeed. Peace and love to everybody. Everybody stay safe. Everybody try to stay cool because it's hot all around the country. Again, stay safe. Much love to you guys. Thanks for watching wherever you're watching from. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments. And peace up. Bear down.
Bear down, y'all.